The rain started coming down hard that Tuesday night in Portland. Michael Torres sat alone at his kitchen table, the kind of alone that becomes normal after 3 years. His frozen dinner was still half-eaten, getting cold while he scrolled through work emails he didn't really care about anymore. At 52, Michael had gotten used to the quiet. Used to the empty chair across from him. Used to eating dinner with the sound of the TV in the background just to fill the silence. His ex-wife Linda had taken the house in Seattle. His daughter Emma was away at college in California. And his son. Well, he tried not to think about his son. But that's the thing about the past, isn't it? It doesn't really care if you're ready to think about it or not. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. Michael almost didn't answer, probably some spam call about his car's extended warranty or whatever. But something made him pick up. Maybe it was the way the phone seemed to vibrate differently. Maybe it was just instinct. He swiped to answer. Hello. Static. Heavy breathing. Then a voice he hadn't heard in 3 years, shaking and desperate. Dad. Dad, please don't hang up. Michael's coffee cup stopped halfway to his lips. His whole body went rigid. Dad, I don't have much time. I'm in trouble. Real trouble, and Ethan. Oh God, where the hell have you been? Do you have any idea? Dad, please. Just listen. His son's voice cracked. There was genuine fear in it. I can't explain everything right now, but I need you to trust me. I'm in Washington. Near Bellingham. There's people after me, Dad. I'm scared. Michael's mind was racing. 3 years. 3 goddamn years since Ethan walked out after that fight. 3 years of wondering if his son was alive or dead, 3 years of checking his phone hoping for a message that never came. What people? Ethan, what did you get yourself into? I can't, on the phone. Dad, I'm at this old motel, the Pinewood Lodge off Highway 542. Room 7. But I think they know where I am. I think they're coming. Please, Dad. I know I messed up. I know you probably hate me, but I don't hate you. Michael's voice softened. The line went dead. Michael stared at his phone like it was a bomb that just went off. His heart was pounding so hard he could hear it over the rain. Bellingham. That was nearly 3 hours away in good weather. In this storm. 4, maybe 5 hours. He grabbed his keys without thinking. Didn't even turn off the lights or lock the door properly. Just got in his truck and started driving north into the rain and the darkness, toward a son he thought he'd lost forever. What he didn't know, what he couldn't have known, was that he was already too late. The I-5 North was a nightmare. Rain hammered the windshield so hard Michael could barely see 10 feet ahead. His wipers were going full speed, squeaking and struggling. Other cars had pulled over to wait out the storm, but Michael kept driving. His mind wouldn't shut up. It kept replaying that last fight 3 years ago. The one that ended everything. Ethan had just turned 23. He'd dropped out of college for the second time, was living in Michael's basement, sleeping until 2 p.m., and hanging out with people Michael didn't trust. That guy Derek with the neck tattoos. That girl Becca who was always high. You're wasting your life. Michael had yelled. You've got potential, Ethan. You're smart, you're capable, but you're throwing it all away for what? For these losers. At least they don't judge me. Ethan had fired back. At least they don't look at me like I'm some kind of disappointment. I never said you were a disappointment. You didn't have to say it, Dad. I can see it in your eyes ever. That's when Ethan had said it. The thing Michael had replayed in his head 1,000 times. Maybe Mom was right to leave. Maybe you're the problem. You're so busy trying to control everything, trying to make everyone live up to your perfect standards, that you can't see you're pushing everyone away. I'm done, Dad. I'm done trying to be who you want me to be. He'd left that night. Packed a bag and walked out into the rain, just like tonight. Michael had been too proud, too angry to stop him. He figured Ethan would cool off, come back in a few days. But days turned to weeks. Weeks turned to months. Michael had tried calling, texting. Nothing. It was like Ethan had vanished. Linda had blamed him, of course. You and your damn temper, she'd said. You pushed him away just like you pushed me away. Maybe she was right. The GPS said he was 45 minutes out. Michael pressed harder on the gas pedal. His phone sat in the cup holder, silent. He kept glancing at it, hoping Ethan would call again, would say he was okay, would say it was all just a misunderstanding. But the phone stayed dark. And somewhere in the back of Michael's mind, a voice whispered that something was very, very wrong. Michael pulled into the Pinewood Lodge at 1:37 a.m. The place looked like something out of a horror movie. The neon sign flickered, PUD LDGE, half the letters burnt out. The building was a single-story dump with peeling green paint and a parking lot full of potholes. Only 2 other cars in the lot, a beat-up Honda with a cracked windshield and a black Dodge Charger that looked way too nice for a place like this. Room 7 was at the far end, near a dumpster that smelled like death and cheap beer. Michael's hands were shaking as he knocked on the door. Ethan. Ethan, it's Dad. Open up, my boy. Nothing happened. He knocked harder. Ethan. Still nothing. The door wasn't locked. It swung open with a long, slow creak that made Michael's stomach drop. Ethan. The room was dark except for the bathroom light, which was on with the door half closed. The TV was on but muted, playing some late-night news. The bed was unmade. There was a duffel bag on the floor, clothes spilling out. A pizza box on the table with 2 slices left. But no Ethan. Son. You in here? Michael stepped inside, his heart racing. Something felt wrong. Really wrong. The air in the room felt thick, heavy. Like something bad had happened here. He walked toward the bathroom. Ethan, my son, if this is some kind of joke. He pushed the bathroom door open. Empty. But the window above the toilet was open, screen bent outward like someone had climbed through it in a hurry. Rain was coming in, pooling on the tile floor. Michael's phone buzzed. He nearly jumped out of his skin. Suddenly. A text. From unknown number. Stop looking. He's already gone. Go home while you still can. Michael burst into the motel office. An old guy with a gray beard and a stained Seahawks jersey was behind the desk, watching some old western on a tiny TV and smoking a cigarette even though there was a "no smoking" sign right behind him. Hey, man, I need to ask you about room 7. The guy who's staying there, young guy, mid-20s, dark hair, have you seen him? The manager looked up slowly, sized Michael up. You a cop? No, I'm his father. He called me, said he was in trouble. When did you last see him? The old guy took a long drag from his cigarette. Look, man, I don't want no trouble. I run a quiet place here. The manager sighed. Kid checked in around 6 p.m. Paid cash. Seemed jumpy, kept looking over his shoulder. Asked for a room at the back, away from the road. Was he alone? Yeah. Well, at first. Round midnight, I saw a car pull up. That black Charger out there. 2 guys got out. Big dudes. They went to his room, knocked for like 10 minutes. I almost called the cops, but then your boy came out, talked to them. They didn't look happy, but they left. Kid went back inside. What did these guys look like? Like I said, big. One was bald, built like a brick house. Other one had long hair, wore a leather jacket. Both of them looked like bad news, if you ask me. Michael felt sick. Did you see my son leave? Nah, man. After those dudes left, I went back to minding my own business. But about an hour ago, I heard a car peel out real fast. Went to check, saw room 7's door was open. Figured the kid bailed without checking out. Happens all the time. The manager leaned in closer, lowered his voice. Look, man, you seem like a decent guy, so I'm gonna tell you something. This ain't the first time something like this has happened. Last year, some kid stayed here, got into trouble with some people. Drug stuff, I think. They found him 2 weeks later in the woods. Overdose, cop said. But I don't know, man. Something ain't right in this town. What are you saying? I'm saying maybe you should listen to whoever sent you that text. Maybe you should go home. Some things are better left alone. Michael felt his blood turn to ice. But there was no way he was leaving. Not without knowing what happened to his son. Michael went back outside. The rain had led up to a drizzle, but the air felt colder now. More hostile. He walked over to the black Charger, looking through the windows with his phone's flashlight. Empty. But in the back seat, he saw something that made his blood run cold. A baseball bat. Wrapped in duct tape at the handle. And what looked like dark stains on it. Oh my God, Michael whispered. You looking for something, old man? Michael spun around. 2 guys. Exactly as the manager described. The bald one was massive, had to be 6'5", arms covered in tattoos. The other one with long hair was leaner but had dead eyes, the kind of eyes that said he'd hurt people before and would do it again. Where's my son? Michael demanded, trying to sound braver than he felt. The bald guy smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Your son. Man, I think you got the wrong guys. We don't know nothing about anybody's son. The manager saw you talking to him. Longhair stepped closer. That old drunk? Man, he's always seeing things. Too much whiskey, not enough sleep. You know how it is. I want to know where Ethan is. Right now. The bald guy cracked his knuckles. Listen, Pops. You seem like a smart guy. So here's some free advice: get back in your truck, drive back to wherever you came from, and forget you were ever here. Your kid. He's mixed up in some stuff that's way over your head. Way over his head, too. The best thing you can do for him, and for yourself, is just walk away. Not gonna happen. Longhair sighed. Yeah, we figured you'd say that. See, that's the problem with dads. Always gotta play the hero. Always gotta stick their nose where it don't belong. He pulled something from his jacket. Michael's whole body tensed, expecting a gun or a knife. It was a phone. Ethan's phone. Michael recognized the case, it had a Portland Trailblazers logo on it. Found this in the parking lot, Longhair said, tossing it to Michael. Kid must have dropped it. Clumsy, right? Michael caught it, his hands shaking. The screen was cracked, but the phone still worked. He unlocked it. Ethan had never changed his password from his birthday. Dozens of missed calls. Texts from numbers Ethan hadn't saved. The last text, sent at 12:47 a.m. Text was: Last chance. Warehouse. Bring the package or we finish this. What package? Michael asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The 2 men exchanged a glance. Like we said, the bald guy replied. Your kid got himself into some deep sh*t. And unless you want to join him, I suggest you bounce. Now. They walked away, got in a Charger, and drove off into the night, leaving Michael standing alone in the parking lot with his son's broken phone and more questions than answers. Michael sat in his truck, staring at Ethan's phone. He should call the cops. This was clearly something illegal, something dangerous. But what if calling the cops made things worse? What if these guys hurt Ethan because Michael brought the police into it? He made a decision. He called Linda. She answered on the third ring, her voice groggy. Michael? Do you know what time it is? Linda, Ethan called me. He's in trouble. Silence. Then, what? He called me tonight. Said he was in trouble, gave me an address. I drove up here and... Linda, there's people after him. Bad people. I found his phone. I think, his voice cracked. I think he might be hurt. Or worse. Oh my God. Oh my God, Michael, what did he say? Where is he? I don't know. He was at this motel, but by the time I got here, he was gone. There was an open window, like he ran. And these guys, these thugs, they showed up and gave me his phone. They mentioned a warehouse and some package. Linda, I think Ethan got involved in something really bad. Linda's voice was shaking now. We need to call the police. Right now. I know, but... But what? Michael, our son could be dead. I know. But if we call the cops and these guys find out, they might. He couldn't finish the sentence. Might what? Kill him. Michael, he might already be, she started crying. I can't lose him. I can't. He's my baby. Michael felt tears burning in his own eyes. I'm going to find him, Linda. I swear to God, I'm going to bring our boy home. Promise me something, Linda whispered. Promise me you won't do anything stupid. Promise me you'll be careful. I promise. But they both knew it was a lie. Because when it came to his son, Michael would do whatever it took. Even if it meant walking straight into hell. Michael needed information. The texts on Ethan's phone mentioned a warehouse, but there were dozens of abandoned warehouses around Bellingham. He needed to narrow it down. He remembered one of the names from Ethan's contacts. Derek. The guy with the neck tattoos from back in Portland. If Ethan was in trouble, maybe Derek knew something. He scrolled through Ethan's recent calls. Derek had called 3 times in the past week. Michael pressed dial. It rang 4 times before someone answered. Music and voices in the background. Yeah. Derek? Who's asking? This is Michael Torres. Ethan's dad. Where are you right now? Why? What's going on? I need to talk to you. Face to face. It's about Ethan. He's in trouble. Another pause. Yeah, man, I know. Look, I'm at this bar called Murphy's Tap. It's on Railroad Avenue. You know it? I'll find it. Don't leave. Michael hung up and plugged the address into his GPS 15 minutes away. Murphy's Tap was exactly the kind of place Michael expected, a dive bar that smelled like stale beer and bad decisions. A few bikers playing pool in the back. An old Guns N' Roses song playing on the jukebox. And sitting at the bar, nursing a whiskey, was Derek. He looked different than Michael remembered. Thinner. Older. Still had the neck tattoos, but there were dark circles under his eyes and his hands were shaking. Mr. Torres, Derek said when Michael sat down next to him. Man, I didn't know Ethan was gonna call you. I told him not to get you involved. Involved in what? What the hell is going on, Derek? Derek took a long drink. It's complicated, man. Ethan, after he left Portland, he crashed with me for a while up in Seattle. Things were cool at first. We were just hanging out, trying to figure life out. But then Ethan met this girl. Becca's cousin, actually. Girl named Marissa. I don't care about his love life. I want to know why people are threatening him. I'm getting there, man, just let me explain. Derek ordered another whiskey. His hands were really shaking now. Marissa, she was into some shady stuff. Running drugs for this crew out of Vancouver. Small time at first, weed, pills, nothing crazy. But then she got in deeper. Started moving heavier stuff. Coke, meth, maybe even fentanyl. Michael felt sick. Don't tell me Ethan. He didn't want to, man. I swear. But he was in love with this girl, and she convinced him to do a few runs. Just to help out, she said. Easy money. And at first, it was. Ethan made a few deliveries, got paid, everything was cool. Until it wasn't. Derek nodded. About 2 months ago, Ethan was supposed to make a big delivery. 50 grand worth of product. But something went wrong. The people he was delivering to, they were undercover cops. It was a setup. Ethan saw them coming, managed to ditch the product and run. But now he's got 2 problems, the cops want him for trafficking, and the people he was working for want their product back. Or their money. 50 grand. $50,000. Michael's voice came out strangled. Yeah, man. And these aren't the kind of people you can negotiate with. They don't care that Ethan got set up. They don't care that he's just a kid. They want their money, and if they don't get it. Derek made a slicing motion across his throat. Michael grabbed Derek's arm. Where is he? You know, don't you? Mr. Torres, if I tell you, you gotta promise me something. You gotta promise me you won't go there alone. These people, they'll kill you both. Where is he? Derek pulled his arm away. There's an old fish processing plant. East of town, near the water. It's been shut down for years, but that's where they do their business. That's where Marissa's boss operates from. If Ethan's still alive, that's where he'll be. Michael stood up. Give me the address. Man, you're not listening. You can't just walk in there. These guys have guns, they have guys watching, The address, Derek. The whole bar went quiet. Everyone was staring. Derek scribbled something on a napkin with a shaky hand. You're gonna get yourself killed, Mr. Torres. You know that, right? Michael took the napkin. If my son's in there, then I'm already dead anyway. He walked out of the bar, leaving Derek sitting there with his whiskey and his guilt. The sun was just starting to rise as Michael pulled up to the old fish processing plant. The place looked like something out of a nightmare, rusted metal buildings covered in graffiti, broken windows, weeds growing through cracks in the pavement. A chain-link fence surrounded the property, but there was a section that had been cut open. Michael parked his truck a block away and approached on foot. His heart was hammering so hard he thought it might explode. He kept thinking about what Linda had said. Don't do anything stupid. Too late for that. He found a spot behind some old machinery where he could see the main building. There were 2 guys standing outside smoking cigarettes. Both had pistols tucked into their waistbands. Inside, he could see lights on and hear voices. Michael pulled out his phone, pulled up the camera, and started recording. If something happened to him, at least there would be evidence. He waited. Watched. 10 minutes passed. 20. Then he saw something that made his breath catch. A door on the side of the building opened. A woman came out, mid-30s, blonde, leather jacket. She was talking on her phone, agitated. Michael couldn't hear what she was saying, but her body language said she was pissed. Behind her, another person emerged. Young. Dark hair. Thin. Hands zip-tied behind his back. Ethan. Michael almost shouted his son's name. Almost ran toward him. But he forced himself to stay hidden. Ethan looked rough, black eye, split lip, shirt torn. But he was alive. He was walking. That meant there was still time. The woman, Marissa, probably, shoved Ethan back toward the building. Said something to the guards. They laughed. Then they all went back inside. Michael had to make a choice. He could call the cops now, tell them everything, hope they got here in time. Or he could try something incredibly stupid. He chose stupid. Michael found a broken window on the back side of the building. He climbed through, trying not to make any noise. The inside smelled like rust and dead fish and something chemical that burned his nostrils. He was in some kind of storage area, old shelves, broken equipment, puddles of water on the concrete floor. Voices echoed from somewhere deeper in the building. Michael crept forward, keeping to the shadows. His phone was in his pocket, still recording. Every step felt like it took an hour. Every sound made him freeze. He reached a doorway that led to the main processing floor. Carefully, he peered around the corner. The space was huge, high ceilings, old conveyor belts, rusted hooks hanging from chains. And in the center, under a harsh work light, Ethan sat in a chair. Still zip-tied. The woman, Marissa, was pacing in front of him. Two big guys stood nearby, arms crossed. Michael counted 4 people total. Not great odds. One more time, Marissa was saying. Where's the money, Ethan? I told you, I don't have it. Ethan's voice was hoarse, desperate. I never took the money. I dumped the product and ran. I didn't have time to. She slapped him. Hard. The sound echoed through the warehouse. Liar. You think I'm stupid? The product was worth 50 grand. You dumped it, fine. But then you disappeared for 2 months. 2 months. What have you been doing, Ethan? Where have you been? 'Cause you sure as hell haven't been working a 9 to 5. I was hiding. I was scared. Yeah, well, you should be scared. 'Cause my boss. He's done being patient. You got until sunrise to tell me where the money is, or. She nodded to one of the guys. He pulled out a gun, checked the magazine. Or we make sure you never talk to anyone again. Michael's whole body was shaking. He had to do something. But what? He didn't have a weapon. He didn't have a plan. He was one middle-aged man against 4 criminals. Then he saw it. On a shelf near him. An old fire extinguisher. It was a terrible plan. Probably suicidal. But it was all he had. Michael grabbed the fire extinguisher, took a deep breath, and stepped out of the shadows. Let him go. 4 pairs of eyes turned toward him. For a second, nobody moved. Then Marissa started laughing. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. Ethan, this is your dad. Ethan's eyes went wide. Dad? Dad, no. What are you? You need to get out of here. I said let him go. Michael tried to sound confident, but his voice was shaking. One of the guards stepped forward. Old man, you got about 5 seconds to turn around and walk away before I put a bullet in you. Go ahead, Michael said, raising the fire extinguisher like a weapon. But the second you shoot me, this whole place fills with foam and you lose your visibility. Then it's chaos. And in chaos, people make mistakes. People get hurt. It was a bluff. A complete bluff. But Michael had learned something in his 52 years, most people don't want to fight if there's another option. Marissa studied him for a long moment. Then she smiled. You know what? I like you. You got balls, coming in here like this. Stupid balls, but still. She walked over to Ethan, put a hand on his shoulder. Your kid tell you what he did? Tell you how he lost 50 grand of my boss's money? I don't care what he did. He's my son. And I'm taking him home. See, that's where we got a problem. 'Cause your son owes us. Big time. And we don't do payment plans. Michael looked at his son. Really looked at him. Ethan's face was a mess, bruised, bloody, terrified. But underneath all that, Michael saw the same kid who used to build Lego spaceships at the kitchen table. The same kid who cried when his goldfish died. The same kid who just wanted his dad to be proud of him. How much? Michael asked. What? How much does he owe? Give me a number. Marissa raised an eyebrow. $50,000. Plus interest. Plus compensation for our time and trouble. Let's call it 75 grand. I don't have 75 grand. Then we got nothing to talk about. She nodded to the guards. Kill them both. Wait. Michael's voice cracked. I have 40,000 in my retirement account. I can get it. I can have it by Monday. Just let him go. Take me instead. Use me as collateral or whatever. But let my son walk out of here. Dad, no. Don't do this. Just go. Please. Ethan was crying now, struggling against his restraints. Michael had never seen his son look so broken, so terrified. Shut him up, Marissa ordered. One of the guards stepped forward, raised his gun. And that's when Michael sprayed the fire extinguisher. White foam exploded everywhere. The guards started shouting, firing blindly. Michael dove behind an old conveyor belt as bullets pinged off metal. He couldn't see anything, couldn't hear anything except ringing in his ears and his own heartbeat. Ethan. Ethan. Dad. I'm here. Michael crawled through the foam toward his son's voice. His hands found the chair, found Ethan. He pulled out his keys, used the sharpest one to saw at the zip ties. Come on, come on. The zip tie snapped. Ethan's hands were free. Go. Run. Michael shoved his son toward where he thought the exit was. They stumbled through the chaos. Behind them, Marissa was screaming orders. Find them. Don't let them leave this building. Michael and Ethan ran. Through corridors that all looked the same, past rusted equipment and hanging chains. Ethan was limping, his leg was hurt. Michael grabbed his arm, helped him along. There. Ethan pointed to a loading dock door. They burst through it into the gray dawn light. Michael's truck was too far. They'd never make it. This way. Ethan pulled his father toward the water. There was an old dock, rotted and dangerous looking, extending out into the bay. Behind them, the warehouse door crashed open. The guards were coming. They ran onto the dock. Wood creaked beneath their feet. Some planks were missing entirely, revealing dark water below. Ethan, this is a dead end. I know. Just trust me. They reached the end of the dock. Nowhere left to run. The guards were halfway across, guns drawn. Ethan Torres. Marissa's voice echoed across the water. There's nowhere to go, baby. Just come back. We can talk about this. Ethan looked at his father. And in that moment, Michael saw something in his son's eyes. Something that made his blood run cold. Dad, I need you to know something. Ethan, not now. I need you to know I'm sorry. For everything. For leaving. For disappointing you. For for all of it. Son, what are you? I love you, Dad. Tell Mom and Emma I love them too. And then Ethan jumped. Ethan. Michael didn't think. He jumped in after him. The water was freezing. So cold it felt like knives stabbing every inch of his body. He couldn't see anything, the water was murky, dark. He dove down, hands reaching, searching. Nothing. He came up for air, gasping. Ethan. The current was strong. The bay was pulling him away from the dock. He tried to swim back, but his clothes were heavy, waterlogged. His muscles were cramping from the cold. Ethan. Son. Nothing. Just dark water and the sound of gulls crying overhead. Michael dove again. And again. And again. Each time, his lungs burned more. Each time, the cold seeped deeper into his bones. Each time, there was nothing. On the dock, the guards just stood there, watching. Not shooting. Not helping. Just watching. Michael's vision started to blur. His body was shutting down. Hypothermia. He knew he should swim to shore, should save himself. But he couldn't. Not without Ethan. Please, he whispered to the water, to God, to anyone who might be listening. Please. Not my son. Take me instead. Please. The water had no answer. Strong hands grabbed him. Pulled him up. Michael fought, tried to go back under. Sir. Sir, stop. You'll drown. Police. Someone had called the police. They dragged Michael onto a boat, wrapped him in blankets. He was shaking so hard he couldn't speak. My son, he finally managed. My son is down there. The officer's face said everything. Sir, we're looking. We've got divers coming. But it's been almost 10 minutes. In water this cold. He didn't finish. He didn't have to. Michael woke up in a hospital bed. Linda was there, her face red and swollen from crying. Emma was there too, his daughter, home from college. She looked at him like he was a stranger. They found him, Linda said quietly. 2 hours ago. A fisherman spotted his body near the bridge. Michael felt something inside him break. Actually break. Like a bone snapping. I tried, he whispered. Linda, I tried. I jumped in. I tried to save him. I know. Her voice was hollow. The police told me. They said you nearly died too. I wish I had. Linda didn't argue. Maybe she felt the same way. A detective came in. Middle-aged guy with tired eyes. Mr. Torres, I need to ask you some questions about what happened. Michael told him everything. The phone call. The motel. Derek. The warehouse. All of it. The detective recorded it on his phone, took notes. We arrested 4 people at the scene, the detective said. Marissa Chen and 3 others. Found enough drugs in that warehouse to put them away for 20 years. Maybe more. I don't care, Michael said. Your son, the medical examiner said he hit his head on a piling when he jumped. He was probably unconscious before he even went under the water. He didn't suffer, if that helps. It didn't help. Nothing would ever help. Why'd he jump? Michael asked, even though he knew the answer. Why didn't he let me handle it? The detective sighed. We found something in Marissa Chen's phone. Text messages between her and your son from last night. Turns out, she told him if he didn't pay up, she'd go after his family. You. His mother. His sister. She showed him pictures of your house, Mr. Torres. Pictures of Emma's dorm at Stanford. Michael felt like he'd been punched in the stomach. He jumped to protect us. Yeah. I think so. He knew as long as he was alive, she'd keep using him to get money from you. Keep threatening your family. But if he was gone, the debt died with him. Ethan had sacrificed himself. To save them. To save his father. He was a good kid who made some bad choices, the detective said quietly. But in the end, he did the right thing. For what it's worth. It wasn't worth much. But it was something. They buried Ethan on a Thursday. It was raining again, just like the night he'd called. Just like the night Michael drove north to try and save him. The service was small. Linda, Emma, some of Ethan's old friends from high school. Derek came, looking like he'd aged 10 years. He tried to talk to Michael, to apologize, but Michael just walked away. He couldn't deal with that right now. Maybe not ever. After everyone left, Michael stayed. Stood there in the rain, staring at the fresh dirt, at the temporary marker that had Ethan's name and dates. 26 years. That's all his son got. 26 years of life, and most of the last 3 were spent running, hiding, being afraid. I'm sorry, Michael said to the grave. I'm so sorry, son. For everything. For not being there when you needed me. For pushing you away. For not being a better father. The rain kept falling. The grave had no answers. Michael thought about that last fight. The things they'd said to each other. He'd give anything, everything, to take it back. To hug his son one more time. To tell him that he was proud of him, that he loved him, that nothing else mattered. But you don't get do-overs. Not in real life. In real life, people leave and don't come back. People make mistakes that can't be fixed. People die, and all you're left with is regret and rain and a hole in the ground. Michael sat at his kitchen table. Same table, same chair, same frozen dinner getting cold. Like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. Linda had filed for divorce. Again. Said she couldn't look at him without seeing Ethan. Couldn't be in the same room without remembering that phone call, that night, that choice Michael made to go after their son alone. Emma had gone back to school but barely called anymore. When she did, the conversations were short, awkward. She was in therapy now. They all were, supposedly. Michael had gone to 2 sessions and quit. What was the point? Talking wouldn't bring Ethan back. The house felt different now. Emptier. Haunted, almost. Sometimes Michael would wake up at 3 a.m. and swear he heard Ethan's voice calling for him. Just his imagination, of course. Grief playing tricks. His phone buzzed. For a second, just a split second, his heart jumped, thinking maybe it was Ethan. Maybe the past 3 months had been a nightmare. Maybe his son would call and say he was okay, that it was all a misunderstanding. But it was just a spam call about his car's extended warranty. Michael let it go to voicemail. He picked up a photo from the table. Ethan at age 7, missing his front teeth, holding up a drawing he'd made in school. It was a picture of their family, stick figures holding hands. My family, written in crayon at the top. Back when things were simple. Back when Michael was his son's hero instead of his disappointment. Michael stood up. Grabbed his keys. He'd been thinking about this for weeks now. Maybe months. Ever since the funeral. Ever since he realized that nothing he did mattered anymore. Nothing would ever matter again. He drove north. Same route he'd taken that night. Up the I-5, through the rain that never seemed to stop in Washington. Past the exit for Bellingham. Past the turnoff for the Pinewood Lodge. All the way to the bay. The dock was condemned now. Yellow tape everywhere, warning signs about structural damage. Michael walked past all of it, out to the end where Ethan had stood. The water looked black in the darkness. Cold. Unforgiving. He pulled out his phone. Scrolled to that last voicemail Ethan had left. The one from that night. He'd listened to it 1,000 times, but he played it again. Dad. Dad, please don't hang up. I don't have much time. I'm in trouble. Real trouble, and I. Michael's voice, interrupting, Ethan. Jesus Christ, where the hell have you been? Dad, please. Just listen. I need you to trust me. The fear in Ethan's voice. The desperation. He'd known, even then, how it was going to end. And he'd called his father anyway. Not to be saved. Just to hear his voice one more time. Michael looked at the water. The same water that took his son. The same water that had swallowed his last chance at redemption. I'm coming, son, he whispered. I'm sorry it took me so long. He thought about Linda, about Emma. They'd be better off without him. They'd already lost Ethan. They'd already grieved. What was one more loss? At least they'd have each other. But Michael. Michael had nothing. Nothing but regret and rain and the memory of his son's voice saying, I love you, Dad, right before he jumped. Michael stepped to the edge of the dock. The wood creaked beneath him. Below, the water churned, dark and hungry. He closed his eyes. Took a breath. And stepped forward. The phone fell from his hand, clattered onto the dock. The screen cracked but kept playing. Ethan's voice, tinny and distant, I love you, Dad. Tell Mom and Emma I love them too. The voicemail ended. The waves crashed. And the dock stood empty, swaying in the wind, a monument to all the things left unsaid and all the chances that never came.
In local news tonight, the body of Michael Torres, 52 of Portland, Oregon, was recovered from Bellingham Bay this morning by Coast Guard officials. Torres is believed to have taken his own life 3 months after his son, Ethan Torres, drowned in the same location. According to police reports, the younger Torres was involved in a drug trafficking operation and jumped into the bay while being pursued by law enforcement. The father, in attempting a rescue, nearly drowned himself and was hospitalized for severe hypothermia. Authorities say Michael Torres had been struggling with depression and guilt following his son's death. He leaves behind his ex-wife, Linda Torres, and daughter, Emma Torres. In a statement, Linda Torres said, Michael was a good man who loved his son more than anything in the world. He never forgave himself for not being able to save Ethan. In the end, the grief was too much to bear. We ask for privacy during this difficult time. Both father and son will be buried together at Riverside Cemetery this Saturday. The family has requested donations be made to addiction recovery programs in lieu of flowers. A tragic end to a story that highlights the devastating impact of drug addiction and the ripple effects of grief. If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of self-harm, please call the National Suicide Prevention